Welcome back, amigos. Bill Carter's contributions to the music made here in Austin are really immeasurable. And that's just if you count his songwriting. He and his band, The Blame, put out a collection of songs last year that really was a standout for us here on the show. Here's the story behind the album that Bill called Unknown.
I remember in the late 60s, mainly early 70s, I played in a lot of hillbilly bands. That's what I mainly did, bass player. I toured the world with people like Doug Kershaw, David Allan Coe as a bass player and all that. And I grew up on bluegrass and country. So I did a lot of Don Williams songs when they were out, when he had all those big hits, early 70s-ish. Years later, you know, to hear him doing, especially a song like Why Get Up, it's just kind of an odd choice. I didn't send it to him or anything, it just wound up on one of his records. And it's one of my favorite versions just because it's so odd that he did the song, but bless you, Don Williams. Why should I get up? This whole world gone crazy, think I had enough. I'm gonna sleep forever. Why get up? My newest CD that I wrote, arranged, produced, all of 14 songs of mine and Ruth and mine that we wrote together a couple of. It's got a lot of different kinds of things on it and all new stuff. I write a lot of songs and I write a lot of different songs, and I was trying to make a lot of sort of different songs fit together, you know, somehow. Although all of them are totally separate, they do have a certain vibe to them, and that's because I have a little different way of using instruments, you know, where you normally wouldn't use a fiddle, for instance. I'll use it and run it backwards. So my idea was just to try and make more of a distinct sound, you know, with what I write. I think I accomplished somewhat of that, you know, on this record. That's what I'm doing here. That's what I'm doing here. There's a song called That's What I'm Doing Here, which was a song that Ruth and I wrote for, once again, it was a song written for a project for the, military people with brain injuries coming back from the Mideast. And there was a whole album of songs that people did, you know, and donated all the money. And that song in particular is a song that's about, you know, just standing up for what you believe in and doing it. Eva Bible was a good mother. She'd go to church on Sunday, kneel down and pray. Eva Bible, murdered on Mother's Day. Eva Bible is a blues song, you know, that I wrote about a woman that was murdered, a prostitute that was murdered, and her name was Eva Bible, and I thought it was a beautiful name and should be immortalized, so I wrote that song. Bel Air Motel is a motel in Austin where 2 or 3 people have committed suicide. I knew 2 of them, so, as a matter of fact, so that struck me as an odd thing, so I wrote a song about that. Kind of a dark song. Never going down to the Bel Air Motel, never gonna go down there. Somebody's crying, somebody's dying. Down at the dirty Bel Air, down at the dirty Bel Air. I don't like to sit around and just write dark ballads, you know, all the time, but I write a lot of up-tempo stuff. I mean, you know, from the Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff I wrote to bluegrass songs. I've been real lucky that I've gotten recordings like having someone like Stevie do Crossfire and Willie the Wimp that I wrote, along with Ruth. And then have, you know, country guys, Waylon Jennings do a song or whatever. So it's everything in between. And as a writer, I mean, it's the ultimate tip of the hat to have some great artists record your songs. So I've been fortunate. In the field of summer, turn in the fall, and anything made of paper, that's all. That's all. I did that song on the David Letterman show, so a lot of people know it as a result of that. Letterman is he's really a really big fan of Texas singer-songwriters. During the break, he asked me, he said, "Did you know Townes Van Zandt?" I go, "Oh yeah, I knew Townes." He goes, "God, he was great." And Guy Clark, I said, "Yeah, I know, you know, guys. God, those guys are just the greatest, man." So he's a big fan of all of that kind of stuff, you know, and of course, see Ray Wiley on there, and You know, so with Dave, you didn't have to have, and me, I mean, you didn't have to have a big hit song out or anything. He just hears stuff, sees stuff, it's brought to his awareness. And if he digs it, he has them on. It was kind of an interesting combination because when I moved to Austin in the 70s, she was going to UT. We got together and she actually played a little guitar and wrote songs. So then I had a band for a long time and she played a little keyboard, but we didn't write any songs together at all. I was just, and then for some reason, I don't remember even why, we started writing songs together, and she's just a great lyricist. She wrote most of the lyrics to Crossfire. It's a good example. It's great writing with anybody that you can connect with on a lot of different levels. And she's definitely that person more than anybody else. So we've written a lot of songs together. I mean, Anything Made of Paper is a good example of a song we really wrote together. It just is ultimately a lot of people's favorite of our songs. And so two heads are better than one, you know, it can be.